Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where in today's video, I'm going to take you through my pre-scene analysis of the ACCA SBL examination March 2025 sitting. We're on part 5 of the series, so if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go back and check out the other episodes. This is where we go through all of the exclusive notes you can see above me from top to bottom, and it's definitely going to help you out to pass. My name is James, welcome to my channel, and if you'd like access to these exclusive notes, click the link in the description below and you can have a copy yourself. You'll also find down there that I'm associated and affiliated with Astranti. You can access their mock papers, pre-scene analysis packs, and they're definitely going to help you to get that 50 plus. And for pure transparency, as always on the channel, if you were to purchase anything through the links down below, I'd be entitled to a small commission which goes to supporting the YouTube channel. So as always, a massive thank you for all of your support. I'm so pleased the notes are helping lots of you out. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I will definitely get back to you, and we're going to get stuck into it straight away on part 5, heading straight down, if you've got a copy of these notes, onto the page you can see on the screen. Now then, let's start to look at the website extracts. The key things for you to get down here are the action points. So the extract covers key actions which Historic Places actually takes, and we're given a breakdown of 6 areas that, again, on the exam day, I'm thinking to myself, if I get anything in the realms of inspiration, accessibility, involvement, engagement, conservation or sustainability, definitely refer to those extracts you can see here. I've underlined the key aspects of the 6 different areas, but it's worth noting we're only given website extracts. They could throw in on the exam day social media posts, news articles, journals. They love to put those in the SBL exam that refer back to the scenario, so make sure you get that down in your notes and you expect it on the exam day. So in terms of inspiration, it's all about stimulating the visitors' minds and provoking their emotions. In other words, through my eyes, I see that people are then more involved in the charity and hence they're more likely to donate, which is what the charity is looking for them to do. In terms of access, it's all about privilege of standing on the spot where the history has happened and the actual sort of living of our country's story. So linked to that mission and values you'll see on page 6 in the pre-scene analysis notes. Again, just making people feel more involved, and if they're more involved, they're more likely to donate. Engaging and entertaining. This is where they love the time they spend with us, bringing the fascinating true stories to life. That's through the volunteers, creativity and imagination. So in other words, the emotions that drive the donations. But in order to actually put that sort of perspective and feel around the science, that is where the volunteers are the main stakeholders who put that into practice. In terms of involvement, this is stakeholder engagement again, the belief and opportunities, engagement with the sites and the volunteers and the staff, and they rely on generous support of members, donors and volunteers as we want to build our relationships with them. In other words, if the Board of Trustees, the executive directors, weren't to align with those mission and values you'll see on page 6, it would upset the donors, the volunteers, and that would have a crippling effect on the charity. So again, other areas you could link into in a SWOT analysis. In terms of conservation, we are all about protecting the sites and objects which need urgent care. This is where Historic Places, as we know, only look after these objects and sites that are over 300 years old, and that's all about the preservation and development of their collections, increasing an understanding through their expert research. The only thing to consider there, you can see in my notes, is the cost-benefit analysis, because the older things get, the more expensive they become. Lastly, sustainability, protecting the future of our sites, fight against climate change, greener energy, minimising waste, increasing the use of recyclable resources, and our performance is measured against increasing rigorous sustainability targets. So an environmental point from a PESTEL analysis point of view here. And we're not given too much in terms of sustainability. There are a few hints of CSR points throughout the pre-scene notes, but anything that comes up on the exam day that links into sustainability, the environment on there, resources, that is definitely a point from the website extracts you should be referring to. You can also see at the bottom of my notes on here, I had to get down a few key areas that I thought I won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't put that in the notes and in the video. Well, we first of all have the 6 capitals of integrated reporting, and this is where they are the basis of an organisation's value creation, and we actually discuss the usefulness of this information to stakeholders. And no doubt you've seen from the pre-scene analysis in these videos and in my notes, there's a lot on stakeholders. And when you see the 6 capitals of financial, manufactured, intellectual, human, social, relationship, and natural capital, there are a lot of points that could go into different areas. So make sure you get down the 6 capitals in your revision. The next area are the 3 E's model, and this is all about discussing the obligations of public sector organisations to meet the economy, effectiveness and efficiency, criteria, and promoting public value. And you think to yourself, I could put down a few points there for the economy, about the recession, how effective they're utilising the charity's resources. We've talked about cost-benefit analyses and the efficiency maybe of the different stakeholder groups, especially the volunteers. So again, don't overlook the 3 E's. I think if it was to be tested, it will be one of those models that either students get it and they'll pick up on a lot of marks, or they won't and they'll just throw them away. We can now come on to, on the right hand side, the financial and non-financial information, and memberships that actually, well, they look good in 2003, the first diagram on the right hand side. But remember, for context, we're not given the information from 2002, 2001, 2000 that we can see on the income streams as it was increasing over those years. So we don't quite understand if, say, maybe donations are a bit higher, have admissions changed. And remember, in 2003, it's starting to flatline. We have the recession factor to take into account, and the actual members are thinking about where they're going to donate to charity. Are they going to renew it? Are they going to place it in other charities? That is potentially one of the reasons for that flatlining you could refer to. But again, you don't have to be specific on the figures, but it's just touched over 800 million euros on there, or dollars, should I say. That's the key figure that you want to apply, especially if you want to make an income point. The SBL markers love it if you refer to the actual dollar amounts in your answers. Good grief, I thought I was going to sound like Kevin Keegan there, but if you're not a football fan, you won't get that. But moving on swiftly to operating expenses now, and in fact, I should put the income graph back on, because as you can see, income has not been increasing at the same rate as the operating expenses. And the other thing to factor in there, on the right hand side, the split of the operating expenses, the highest expense is the day-to-day running costs and the wages, which is a critical point for you to get down, as to that is where we've seen in the pre-scene notes that people and the news articles and the media don't like to see charities just frittering away money on expenses and wages that are not adding to the charity's value. So the site operating is the main one, the maintenance and conservation, and the admin being the last. So it's worrying in terms of the viability and the margins of the charity from an operating expense. Again, I'm trying to put in some SBL nice management accounting terms there. But then the final model I've got on here in terms of Porter's diamond model, it's one of those models that always SBL students, they kind of think, oh, it'd be great if that came up. It's nice and easy to break down for it. But in terms of a economy and gaining a competitive advantage on there, and working out if they have any of the factors based on the sort of demand factors, firm strategy, I'd actually say it's not very likely based on the pre-scene materials and the fact we're having our first charity tested in the SBL exam from pre-scene information. So Porter's Diamond, obviously be aware of it. I don't have a crystal ball, but it wouldn't be the top of my priority list from a model perspective. Coming on to the left-hand side now, we're looking at the number of visits and the number of members. And it's worth noting, don't overlook it, that the number of members is on a positive trajectory. It's going up. The number of visits, members and non-members, is going up. The key thing on that members and non-members graph, though, is we're not given the breakdown as to how many are members and how many are non-members on there. And maybe questions you could ask in the exam if it was an area of the requirement, and this is where your professional skepticism could come into it. How can they monetize it better? Is it going to continue on this upward positive trajectory in a recession marketplace at the moment? And in terms of the number of members, it's slightly flattening as well, a bit like what the income curve was doing on there, and relating that back to the economic climate of a recession. The last things you can see on the left-hand side now are some other critical models and theories you have to be aware of ahead of your SBL exam. The first one being the PESTEL analysis, where you'll have seen previously in the video. I've highlighted in my notes, so check those out. Make sure you download a copy in the description of this video, because it takes you to the specific areas. And to be honest with you, we have factors that cover all 6 areas on there. So we have some actual political and government interest, there's regulation, there could be things like local authorities you might get given more on the exam day. Economic wise, we've got the recession, as we've talked about, and impacting on the charitable donations dropping slightly. Social wise, we've got the large amount of volunteers and full-time paid staff, potentially trade unions, they always like to throw that in somewhere. Technology, we've had the information systems, data risks, cyber attacks, and the website could have some development. Remember, they've got the different sites in different places, not all in the same place on there. In terms of the environment, increased stakeholder awareness. They've talked about green energy in the website extracts. And lastly, potential lawsuits, non-compliance, fines, data risk, misuse of charity finances and data on there, potential injuries on some of the sites. All of these things could link into a PESTEL analysis, and therefore it's not a guarantee that it could come up, but it does have a lot of areas you could talk about. You'll see in my notes below for Porter's 5 forces, I've got it down as being hard to see to be tested. Again, competitive rivalry, supplier power, buyer power, substitution, threat of new entry. It just doesn't come across as the type of pre-seed information and the charity sector. And the fact we've only been given 2 charities, one that looks after objects and ornaments are over 300 years, and one that looks after objects and sites under 300 years. So again, not really much to talk about, but again, you'd be silly to not have it just in case, but it'd be very hard to see how it could be aligned. But as always, with every single SBL exam, SWOT analysis can be applicable whether it's a PLC, a new business, a charity on there. The strengths identified is that it's an established charity over 120 years. It's already got heritage itself, variety of sites across the country. You know, we're still talking, it's over $800 million just in income. So put it that way, they're doing pretty well. But in terms of weaknesses, the decreasing drops in donations is one worry. We also have the increasing costs. The sites over 300 years old mean that the sites and the objects are only going to get older, and they're only going to cost more to maintain. Opportunities wise, the better functionality of the website I've got down here, maybe diversifying the donation revenue streams, new members on there, new sites, new objects they've hinted at. There's a variety of different topic areas for you to discuss. But the main one for your notes, the main one are the threats, such as loss of staff and volunteers. We've got the economic climate on there of a recession, cash flow or working capital management, cost-benefit analysis, poor margins on there. There could be other upsets in the charity sector. We've also had about they're going to be audited. What happens if there was some corruption found out in the charitable annual report? There's a variety of different things, and that's why SWOT analysis has to be on your list, that you have points under each element on there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the end of my full pre-scene analysis. The last thing I can say is best of luck with your upcoming exam. I'm going to take you back up to the top because these are my exclusive notes. As I said, if you'd like a copy, just click the link in the description of this video and you can access one there. You can also find all of those Astranti mock papers, pre-scene analysis packs. Click the links down below. You won't regret checking those out. They're only going to help. And be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on any future videos. So best of luck with your exam. hang around till the end of this video. I'm going to put another one up at the top now in the series, so I'll see you on the other side now. Thank you very much.